Hey guys, Brett Westgrove here. Brett Westgrove here here today to talk to you a little bit about some of the process I use when making my videos for you that I upload to YouTube every Friday afternoon. Now, some of the comments I get no, it's not my second language. Now, one of the common things I get in comments and messages is people asking me about how I get the guitar sound that I do. And it just so happens today that I am about to do some of that work like I do every week. Now, right now I'm working on a song, Walkin' in Memphis. Now, by the time this video goes up, you guys should have already seen that music video, but I will link it here. Now, today we're going to just be recording some guitars. Now, this video is not going to be what it sounds like. It's not going to be some technical, boring thing. I really want to write it for the music lovers out there while answering all of these other questions. So it's not going to be about compression settings and EQ settings and what effects I use on my instrument, but rather it's going to be more about my process. I record in spaces which are often a bit noisy and distracting. And so to work around that problem without picking up that noise in my recordings, I record my vocal and my guitar separately using a tight microphone on my vocal, which allows me to pick up just the vocal without the external noises in the room. I also use the pickup built into the guitar plugged straight into my recording equipment, and that allows me the same thing. Now, this gives me a track that I personally don't like the sound of. Some people love the sound of a direct acoustic guitar. It's not my favorite, but it gives me something I can blend in or that I can reference later while re-recording those guitars. Now, I want to be very clear that this is not necessarily the best process or the only way to do this, but this is just what works for me. It allows me to get the sounds I want while keeping the live performance, keeping the live vocal and the live feel of the original performance. Now, before I get too far, I also don't want to confuse anyone and suggest that this process is what makes guitars sound great. I'll start right off the bat with my instrument. My Martin guitar is fairly expensive and it's a great sounding instrument. Now, above all of that, of course, is the playing skills. I'm just going to throw it right out there and say, like you've heard 1,000 times, practice, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. There is no replacement for displacement. Oh, that's a car one? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a car saying. You need to have your skills down to a certain level. You can take a $20 guitar, you can take a $20,000, put it in the hands of you can take a $20,000 guitar and put it in the hands of a beginner and it won't sound so great. Likewise, you can take a $50 guitar and put it in the hands of an expert and it'll sound great. I by no means consider myself an expert or an amazing guitar player, but I try to get a little bit of both. I have an instrument that I really liked the sound of and I was willing to pay the price that I did for it. And I try to keep my skills up. I practice a decent amount and I do my best to bring those two things together to maximize everything. So anyway, I think we're getting a little off topic here, but I wanted to show you what I do. So what I have here is I have all my equipment set up. So I have my MacBook Pro running Logic Pro, and it has that vocal track from the live performance as well as the direct line out from the guitar, and they are recorded on separate tracks. Now, I could very easily mix that and add that, sync that up to the video that I recorded and put it up on YouTube. But as I said before, I have a very specific guitar sound that I want that I can't record when I do the original performance, and so I have to capture it afterward. So what I do is I play this back, oftentimes with the video as a reference, and I watch the video and I listen very carefully and I replay exactly what I played. Now, I record all of that into a condenser microphone, which has a habit of picking up the entire room. So once again, I can't really use this all of the time, and so I always use this in post. I find a bit of time where the house is empty, the neighborhood is quiet, and I can use this sensitive microphone to pick up the beautiful tones of the guitar that otherwise are kind of lost in that plugging in recording. So I use this condenser mic, which is much more sensitive, and it captures all of the subtle tones of the guitar that you can't get by just plugging it in. And so anyway, that's my process. I've got my MacBook Pro running Logic Pro. I have my audio interface. It is powering my condenser microphone, and I'm gonna throw on my headphones. I'm gonna get the guitar tuned up, and I'm gonna go ahead and overdub the guitar, playing it exactly the way I did in the original performance. So I'll do that about 2 times till I get the guitars really locked in where I want them to be, and those will be the final guitars that I'll blend in with the original performance vocal. So the one other thing to address with this process is some people might consider this cheating a bit. I call my videos live, and to me they are a live performance. The video and the vocal, they are the live track. I set up a camera, I set up a microphone, I perform the song. As I said, in that environment, I'm not often able to capture the guitar the way I like it. So I'm overdubbing it and recreating that performance as close as possible while capturing all the subtleties of the instrument. Some people may not like that, but to me, the vocal performance and the video performance are what truly make a live performance. Maybe you guys don't agree. If you don't, I'd love to hear. What are your thoughts? What are your comments? As usual, leave your comments below. I'd love to get your input. This is me as an audiophile, as a perfectionist. I have a background in music production, so I really enjoy capturing an instrument how it's meant to sound. And I put in the extra work to do this because I think you will appreciate it as well. Anyway, I'm blabbing on and on and on, so I'm going to get the guitar and we are going to go ahead and get some tracks recorded. Let's finish up Walking in Memphis. Now obviously you can see that I'm tuning, but some of you may be a little curious about what I plugged into the guitar. Well, so the Aura system on my Martin actually has a built-in tuner, but it also has this maybe kind of silly protection for the battery in that the entire system shuts off unless the output is plugged into something. So I usually just have this little dummy plug, and I plug it in, preamp can turn on, and then I can use the built-in tuner. Now of course this is just another one of the important aspects of getting a good guitar track. It's making sure the instrument is very closely tuned. And I don't even rely on my ear when I can have a tuner. I mean, most musicians don't anymore. These systems can help you get a very accurate tune, which is always helpful. All right, so moving on, the very first thing I do is I set up a couple of tracks for the guitar, and I set the input from my interface, and I set them up to record, and I use the meters within my recording software to get the levels for the guitar. Let's see, what input? Putting the right input would help. Input 1 and input. And essentially what I do is I get my level within a couple dB of 0 at the loudest I will be playing during the song. And that looks pretty good. We are ready to go. In fact, I'm going to check the tune one more time just to be extra sure. Looks good. All right, get my headphones on and let's start recording. A lot of times it takes a little bit of time to get into the flow of things. It's very difficult to recreate an original performance, but it's important to me that it is identical to keep as much authenticity as possible. So I may have to start and stop a few times, possibly even punch in and do some editing, but that's just part of the process. All right, well guys, so what you just saw is actually what it took for me to get through one entire take. So all those little pieces you just saw are going to be cut together and aligned so they properly match the original performance, keeping its authenticity. I'm going to go ahead and do this a couple more times. So that will become the bass tracks that I use to mix the whole song. We take that, sync it up with the video, do some post-processing on the video, and upload that to YouTube. Now in this case, I believe I'm going to leave this song acoustic, so just acoustic guitars and my voice. As you've seen from many of my other songs, I usually go on to add electric guitar, slide guitar, bass, dobro. In some cases I even go through and I add drums. But like I said, for this song, it's very simple, it's very emotional, and I like it being just raw and acoustic.
Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touched down in the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I've got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis.
Right here hanging out doing some music. Of course, you've always got to have a tiny little mascot, right? Let's get a few more tracks laid down and we will have the bass layer for the instrumentation for this song. Good boy, can you lay down? One of the other drawbacks of having an extremely sensitive microphone is you can't run the air conditioning. It's about 85 degrees in here right now. Anyway guys, thanks for stopping by. Please leave a like and a comment. Of course, if you don't already, subscribe, as I say every time. It really helps out. And please use those links below. Share some of the music videos on social media. Once again, I'm so glad you could be here. Thank you for being part of the Brett Westgrove community and the music community in general. And I will talk to you guys next time.